Well, here we are again. Welcome to the Street University, to a session that I have looked forward to because of the guest we have on with us tonight. We've been talking about mindsets. We've been talking about, how we limit ourselves. And so today we want to look at somebody who practically has overcome those limitations that just have held too many people down. And I'm really excited about that. And so why don't we do what we know to do in that let's share, let's invite people. It's going to be a phenomenal session with somebody that I guarantee you will inspire you, will absolutely inspire you. All right. So let me know who's here. You're very welcome to another time of inspiration. And think of it. We do need inspiration, as often as we can get it. The world is going through one of the biggest challenges in history. One of the biggest challenges in history. I mean, we're dealing with Corona. Hello, David. We're dealing with, oh, wow, we have a guy coming up first today. My goodness, David, I should give you something. you know, so there's so much the world is going through. We are dealing with, hello, Stella, dealing with coronavirus. And then next thing we know now, there's a ship that's stuck at the Suez Canal, which is basically going to affect the prices of anything. I mean, that's coming from out. So we are living in really, really perilous times. And, this is, I can guarantee you, this is a good opportunity because some of the greatest breakthroughs in history have come during some of the worst times in history. And, just before we bring up our guest, I want to share some thoughts with you, but I want to make sure everybody is on board before we do that. So come on, welcome people, welcome your friends, welcome everybody, invite guys so that we can do this. All right. Welcome everybody. I want to share something that I believe will be a blessing. Hello, Matthew. The Lord bless you. Isabella, Dorcas, you're very welcome. Very, very, very welcome. Yes, Matthew, God bless you big time. All right. So let me give 60 seconds and then I'm going to share this with you even as our guest comes on board. And I promise you, this is going to absolutely do something to your thinking like it did to mine. Because a lot of people look at this. I mean, my goodness, the world is going through tough times. You understand? The world is going through very, very, very tough times. But at the same time, the world is witnessing great opportunity. Great opportunity. And the greatest challenge to innovators during uncertain times is what I call brain freeze. Is the greatest challenge. That because times are so uncertain, people now become conservative in their thinking. Nothing could be more wrong for visionaries like you. Nothing could be more wrong than this. Uncertain times present golden opportunities to change the game. And most innovations that have changed the world have actually been produced during uncertain times. I always give the example of the book Startup Nation, where they observed that Israel did not become successful in spite of the hostility around They became successful because of the hostility around, because the hostility drove them to innovate. It forced them to innovate. How did it force them? Because they realized, oh, wow, that, you know, if we do not develop ourselves, there's a threat. And so the first industry they developed was their military industry to protect themselves. And so every other industry sprung out of that. The same thing Singapore's founding father Lee Kuan Yew said. They developed, they prospered, not in spite, but because of the hostilities that were there. And so anybody who is just using this period, and I think at the beginning, I kept saying it. I kept saying it that this is not a holiday. Then you remember our first class this year. I said, what if 2020 was a warm-up? What if it was a warm-up? We need to be prepared. Now, before my guest, I bring my guest up today. Listen, it is crisis that gives innovation color. M-Pesa is a wonderful innovation, but do you know it could not work in other environments that already had established payment platforms? So it needed to work in an environment that did not have that. So the greatest opportunity, Africa, I think, is the greatest opportunity bank and resource in the world. I was writing something, my article for the East African today, and I was comparing the life of Thomas Sankara with Magufuli. And Sankara said, you know, he asked other African heads of state to support him. He said, they have the Paris Club. Let us form the Addis Ababa Club. And together, let us say we are not paying any money that they say we owe them. He said, you know what he said? He said, I may not be here for the next conference, but let this be on record. Of course, they assassinated him before the next conference. France arranged for him to be killed. He said, we have the people, we have the land, we have the brain power, and we have the market. Did you hear that? We have everything. We have the richness of the land. We have the people. We have the brain power. We have manpower. We have brain power. And we have the market. So what's going on? You know, listen, in 1918, the world was faced with a pandemic, which was known as the Spanish flu. It went on from 1918 to 1920. By the time it was over, 500 million people were infected, 50 million people had died. What came after the pandemic was called the Roaring Twenties. It was the decade, I mean, people had been locked up and all that. So while, yes, it was the decade of parties, it was also the decade of innovation. Some of the innovations that came out after the Spanish flu, when you drive your car and you see and you have a headrest, that's one of the innovations of the 20s. Traffic lights, that's innovation of the 20s. Convertibles, water skiing, the bulldozer, instant cameras, cheeseburgers, penicillin, the world's first liquid fueled rocket, quick frozen food, plaster, the Band-Aid, the electric blender, the television, the vacuum cleaner. These are the inventions of the 20s. So while some people were complaining about the pandemic, some people were thinking and innovating. History is about to repeat itself. A crisis is too good an opportunity to waste. In a post-COVID world, innovation in society is going to surge again. Are you ready? And that's why today, my guest is one of the most remarkable people that I have met. And I just, any opportunity to promote him and make noise about what he's doing, I want to do that. Because you see, another problem we have in Africa, we don't celebrate our own. When he now becomes a him, yet you had an opportunity to celebrate him. I look at people like Elsa Majimbo, Elsie, is it Elsie or Elsa? You know, hey, when she started, guess who stoned her? Guess who made fun of her? It was Kenyans. Then she becomes big. And, we don't want to keep doing that. We don't celebrate our own. Then when the world begins to celebrate them, we now begin to lay claims to them. Now, some people love eating chocolates. I mean, I've always said this. Some people like to be fashionable, but some people determine what fashion is going to be. Similarly, some people, read the map, others draw the map. Now, some of us like eating chocolate, but there are people that make the chocolates. And the person we're about to speak to right now, listen, he's got his own chocolate business. He makes his own chocolate. How cool is that? You make your own chocolates. Yeah? And guess what? He's not even 30 yet. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Derrick Gitonga. Derrick, you're welcome.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much. How are
Wow.
you? That's a really good introduction.
Let me ask you a question that has nothing to do with anything we are talking about. Are you
Yeah.
in a relationship? Do you have a girlfriend or a fiancé or you're married?
I am single in every possible way. I'm not married. I'm not in a
Mama
relationship
mia.
right now.
So I'm just thinking, so when you are going to propose, you will go with your own chocolate that you made.
Yes, most likely I will
Hey,
invent something just for
whoa,
her.
hey, Derek.
It's going to be exciting. I'm thinking, I don't know, I'll probably put all the Kenyan flavors in one bite and see if she'll say yes to my craziness.
So, guys, it doesn't get better than this. Now you have somebody who is going to propose with his own chocolate. Eh?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
tell me, how did you get into this? How did you get into this?
That's a good question. I think the story goes back to my upbringing. I saw my father being very handy in terms of the things he wanted to gift our mom, my brother and I. I caught on really early. If you want to gift a lady, to be best if you do something that is made from your hands. So back in high school, our high school was mixed, and I had interest in a certain girl. And the only way I knew I could get her attention is if I made something from my own hands, because everyone was trying to win her attention. And interestingly, that her birthday was the same day as Valentine's. So you can imagine you have um, two giftings to do in one day. So the 2 weeks before Valentine's, I was trying to create gifting ideas, make paper, origami, paperwork, and stuff. Then I thought, let me Google, since there's a free computer lab here. Let me Google and see what would come up if I created. And one of the videos I watched was how to make homemade chocolate using what milk powder, drinking chocolate, and warm water. And so I took 3 days just to grind them together. And after that, when I gave it to her on her birthday, her reaction was what was priceless. Like she said yes without a doubt. Like, you know what, we began dating. And so her reaction stayed with me till today, that it's possible to create something from an honest point of view, and and it's appreciated. So when I was working, that's after high school, through campus, I didn't know that I really wanted to do candy and everything. But when I began working full time, I kept traveling. And in my travels, I would meet interesting people, two of whom are now my chocolate mentors. And they saw my passion in wanting to understand the flavors, wanting to understand how it's made. And that's from where now they were like, okay, we can give you private classes and then see where it goes from there. So that's how my journey began, from love, um, to from inspiring people through love and I think like that. And that's how I've been able to go this far. Yeah.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
amazing. So tell me, so you had the
Yes.
idea, you
Yes.
met these people. How did you now convert this idea into a business? How did you go about? Were you not were you not scared, in the beginning that you are going to spend your life making chocolates?
I was scared. I resigned my job in October 2019 and I started officially full time January 2020. So you can imagine those months of getting good sleep and then in the middle of the night you wake up scared. But my original idea was not to go into chocolates. It was to start a gifting company using ceramic. I love jars, like any kind of jar, if it's a bowl. So the idea was to gift people. The jar would be the main container. So you have a jar, maybe a scarf, and a piece of chocolate. So in that, trying to figure out how to start, I was still doing classes on the side. Then one of my mentors was like, Gitonga, it's very easy to start your own business in chocolate. And since you've been making for a while, um, try and sell to your friends and see what they'll say. And so I began selling. And then in January now 2020 is when one of them was like, now Derrick, I think you've been wasting time. It's time for you to do this. And true to be honest, I was wasting time because I was so scared with the stereotypes of I don't have any money, I don't have a brand yet. So, and who am I? How will I come into a market that is already dominated by, Cadbury, or my fears were just like, okay, when you go to a supermarket, it's full of chocolate. How will I beat this? So my fear of also, I thought I would be corporate my entire life. Like I would work in human resources, be the best human resource manager there'll ever be, and then that's it. But in redefining myself, I saw business was not my thing, which was now the wrong idea. So fighting that fear also of redefining myself has been huge. So I'd say it has been very interesting. I still have fears of my own right now because the more you start doing business, fears come in. But the start was huge. It was really a huge breaking point for me in my comfort zone. Yeah.
So tell us about that first sale, the first
Mm.
day where people actually paid money for your
Wow.
chocolate. How did it
Yeah.
feel? I mean, I still remember the first time I received money for a book that I wrote.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
So how did that feel for you? What was it like?
Uh, my first 100 bars were the most emotional because I had set for myself a target of selling 3 bars a day so that I hit a month. I mean, trying to start small with low expectations. So March 7th, there was an event at Runda, opposite to Rivers at Runda Auto Care. At the event, about 50 ladies came and all of them bought. Trust you me, I felt like I was in heaven. That whole event, I was walking proud and feeling vindicated that a product that I've made is genuinely loved because I got to hear the feedback firsthand. One of the things that really impressed me was I didn't know that I could actually market and sell. And those two things really hit me with warmness and gladness that a product that I have created is being celebrated. And I didn't even have to do much of marketing. I just placed them out there on the table. And guys were like, is this chocolate? And I'm like, yes. Yeah, yeah. Did you make them? And I'm like, yes. Because I'm also anxious to like, okay, there are more questions that are coming. But when they got to taste some of the samples, they were like, you know what? Give me two, give me one. And then they were over, and I was like, do you mind sharing with someone else who's not had here? And that was, I closed business for a week. just to feel myself. I was like, you know what, I've done it. So I didn't work for a week after that. Just enjoying myself, and then obviously now the lockdown came in that particular week, so I got excited and at the same time kind of scared because we didn't know what was going to happen next, but I was excited. I still have the very first buy I made. I still have the wrapper. That one was like it's sentimental for me.
As it
Yeah,
should be. But let
yeah,
me ask, so how
yeah,
did you, a lot of people
yeah,
are looking for big money to start,
yeah.
okay? How did you overcome the issue of startup capital? Or did you discover you didn't even
Okay.
need much money to start off? How did you, what happened?
That's a good question. Between the period of resigning and starting my business, about to January, I read that the books I loved was Lean Startups. And in the description by the writer, he says one of the best things you can do is to start small and grow. And for me, that question for how do I start and grow was the most important for me. So doing my calculations initially my idea of starting a business was rent a huge workshop, get 10 employees, import. So that already is what my mind is thinking. Like I need maybe 3 million shillings. But in reality, when you go down to the nitty gritty, how much do I need just to start and make 10 bars today, 10 bars tomorrow, 10, maybe 5 the next day? So in my calculations, I was like, you know what? I have a kitchen that I can use. I need to ask my mom, can I use your kitchen for a while? So it took only 20,000 shillings to start, like start basic, sell to my friends and family. And then in also thinking a bit, I was like, okay, now that I'm getting private classes, why not I ask my mentor if she can give me workshop space? So now I start also in a different level, just exploring my ideas. So she was like, yeah, I'll actually give you a space in my workshop for free and you won't pay rent. So I was like, wow. And I'll also give you 10% of my stock in terms of cocoa for you to experiment with for free. And I was like, okay, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, you're a really nice guy. And I see your mind is in this thing. So I started with almost 0 shillings. But in my calculations, I knew I needed to do something for marketing. I needed some branding. I needed my logo created. So in my calculations, I knew I needed 150 to push me for 4 months. So I raised capital that way. I wrote my first letter to raise capital, and it was so brief. I shared my story on LinkedIn, and the book that inspired me to write that letter is called What It Takes, and the guy says, "Be brief and be simple." So I wrote, "Dear Mr. Gitonga, that is now my dad. I am building what will be the largest chocolate industry in Africa, and I need your help. And I have you in my list for crowdfunding for 150,000." And I signed it. And 2 days later, he calls me and he was like, "You know what? Here's the money. I've seen your proposal and everything, and I've been hearing your story." And so I began.
Wait,
Yeah, that's
wait,
how I
wait,
began.
wait. That was your father, right?
Yes, that was my father.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wow, he must be so proud of you.
He is. He's more on Facebook than I am. So every time I go to Facebook, I see he's promoting. My son is doing chocolates. Get to this. He's joined groups, and he has over 1,500 followers. So I imagine he's doing a good job. Yeah, he's one of the biggest supporters I have out here, which is amazing.
Well, you have another supporter here because I'm posting this on Wale's page tonight, and I have
Amazing.
43,000 people. I have 43,000
Wow.
people, and on
Wow.
Twitter I
Wow.
have 19,600. So I'll put the link
Wow.
tonight
That is
because you
amazing.
should
That is
be
amazing.
promoted. So let me, and guys, this is important. This is the book, right? The Lean Startup.
Yes.
And you see, guys, this is why we say you need to read because a lot of
Mm,
the answers to the questions you are asking, somebody has written them somewhere. That's
yes.
very important. Somebody has already written them somewhere. And, we need to be careful because there is this deception that we need a lot of money to start. And I
Yeah.
found out that and you heard him, He did not have to write a big proposal. He didn't. And once people, even the Bible says, to him that has, more will be given.
Will be
So
given.
start
Yeah.
where you are. Start where you are. Have something to show for it. Yes, Audrey, this book is available. I'm sure Nuria Books can get this for you. You know, it's an
Yeah.
amazing book. Start where you are. That's the principle we have started everything we have done with Street University, everything. Start where you are. As it grows, then it becomes
Mm,
attractive and it will begin to attract people who want to be a part of it. But start
yeah.
where you are. So that was the first 150,000. So what did you need to do with that? And then what happened after that?
So what I needed to do was to create my logo, which some of the products I have is like now this my pin, which I do. So creating a logo, creating designs. Also, I needed to increase the amount of flavor profile I had, so I had to purchase a bit of flavors, ingredients, sorry, for the flavors. And then after that, also I knew I needed to do a bit of marketing, attend some uh, pop-up events, and have costs that were able to help me sustain myself, because you see I don't have any salary as yet. So I knew that money would push me in terms of airtime, push me for my moving around. So the first 2 months, I was able to break even actually, because we sold a lot in between January and Valentines. We had really good
Wow.
sales. Um, so what happened after Valentine's is now where it became harder, because you see, I had started with excitement. Then I had no Instagram page or Facebook page. So it became harder because I was like, I need an online presence. So now attending, paying for people to teach me, how do you do this? How do I create this? Some of the cost, the money I raised for was maybe non-refundable or money that was not coming back. So all of it went to places that I knew if I learn this, then the investment is made in me. So I'm now the intellectual property in this. I know how I'm going to get it back in the business. And then now Corona came in, and I was like, so what do I do with the remaining part of the money? So after 1 week of thinking, I need to think fast. I need to create unique products that allow us to go forward. And I needed help with my online space. So what I did is I wrote to celebrity friends of mine and I was like, hey, would you mind helping me? I'll give you a package, this amount of money, and promote it. So behind the scenes, I know how much I'm giving. So in as much as I have a free workshop and free everything, my 10% that had been given was already over. So I knew now I need to start now paying back my cost of production. So now every time something leaves the workshop, at least I have money that is going to allow me to do the next production. So that's how my money was used up to around June. So all to kind of extend to a period of June, no events, just creating and giving to friends to promote it, creating, giving friends to promote it. And then from around June now, my sales peaked because I had invested so much in creating a presence and an online brand. One of the things I realized was it was easy for me to make mistakes in trying to mix my market understanding. And I knew I'm good with LinkedIn and Instagram. So I focused on those two markets. So you find most of the people I was giving them to promote on Instagram and YouTube, like two people. So that investment for creating, giving them samples to see and create really helped boost now the sales after June. June to August were also really good. So some of the debt I had accumulated now from my cost of production, because I had to raise more money, was settled by August. So yeah, that's what I did until August, where now we were able to. I'm able to say that I broke even for any amount of money I had raised, and then now the business being able to have its own capital to do some of its experiments inside the business.
This is, you see, guys, now you see why I said this is a story we should shout about. Because, if this was in the US or wherever, these are the case studies
Mm.
that they will package into Harvard Business Review or whatever. So, listen, tell me your business. So, how many months did it take you for the business to be able to look after itself?
I would say March, April, June, July, August, and September. Those are 6 months of investing money in creating products and unique flavors. Now, from August, we had sales in between, but it wasn't as much. From August, my online presence had really boosted, which is where we get most of our orders from. And from August till December, those 2 months, it's like a miracle. I've been living in a miracle. So it took only 6 months to break even. And also, I was very careful to learn ways of raising money that wasn't strenuous for the business and for myself. Because I knew if I start really early with ways that I'm not able to account for, to be hard for me. So I raised small amounts so that I'm able to account for it. And I'm also able to be accountable to myself in how am I learning to do this? How is my marketing strategy? How is my online marketing strategy? What do I have in mind for the upcoming events? And also giving room for trial and error. One of the things I discovered as well is research and development is heavy in investment. So creating a plan, because I didn't want to be reactive to what is happening. I wanted to have a proactive plan so that I'm able to account for, I have this in 4 weeks, it's going to cost this. How do I raise money? So I need to sell this amount of bars, so I'll work towards it. So I'd say being careful not to bite more than you can chew has been my biggest lesson. Because I realized while working, while I was employed, that was a big challenge for people in business. You go down because you took too much, and ideally you need to start small and grow, which is my biggest strategy.
You know, listening to you, you are sounding like a wise old man. Where did you get all this wisdom from?
Wow. Reading. I would say reading a lot has helped because um, how do I say this? I remember attending one of your sessions back in Naivasha, and you said that your intelligence is limited by how much you're exposed. I don't know if that was exact wording. And so I knew some of my knowledge is corporate. I know how to run corporate. I know how to engage people to help me build something. I also know what strategy is, but I don't know how to do business. So now I needed to look for specialized knowledge in business. How do I do this? The other thing is I also network a lot and get mentors. Uh, like now, one of my biggest thing learning right now is routine and discipline, which I thought they are one thing, but they are two things. Routine and discipline are two different things because one affects your character, the other one affects your daily, and then no one else can come and do routine. But discipline for character, and the other one for work. So I'd say I learn a lot from reading. I learn a lot from my own experience. I'm very passionate on reflecting on how my character affects business and how my own growth will eventually affect the business. I'm also keen to wanting to know how are my mentors doing it. They've been in the industry for over 20 years. How did you do it? I'm also keen. I love the idea of changing culture, and I imagine I would want to be part of changing culture of chocolate in Africa. So questioning all the time, like, okay, how did you do this? Can I do it any different and uniquely? So always questioning, having a curious mind, being willing to learn and experiment. One of the things I've learned as well is to be bold and try out. My courage has been built by taking a risk and surviving. I survived starting a business. I survived the lockdown through the period. I survived even my own personal errors in not having eight things, one or two organized. So I find that over time, my personal character has also evolved. So when I go back and see, I've grown up to this point, how far can I grow? So those things, personal reflection, mentors, reading, and experience from other people. That's how
My
I get my
goodness.
wisdom.
It's hard
Yeah.
to believe you are not yet 30. How old are you right now?
I am 27. I am turning 28 in
Mamma
July.
mia. My goodness. So,
Yeah.
if what is, I want two things. Number one, um, what has competition been like for you?
Okay.
All right. And then my next
Yeah.
question after that is, what do you see in the next 2 years? Okay,
Okay.
so competition and the
Yeah.
next 2 years.
The next 2 years. At first, it was hard. There's so many chocolatiers in Kenya, and they have had quite a head start. And so when you go online, you see these 10,000 followers, you see their posts, you see their branding. It crashes my spirit. I'm like, how will I do this? So one competitor after the other, you go and you're like, wow, you know what? I don't think I can do it. So it kept taking a toll on me and wondering, how then will I ever deal with these people? But I remember reading a book on constructive paranoia, where the guy says in his book that one of the best perspectives is not seeing them as competitors, but as business partners, because you're all in the same industry and you need to work together. You need to learn from them. And he also says it's also really important that you use that fear to create, as opposed to obsessing over what they're doing, obsess over what you can do and what you're offering that is unique. So remember, in April, I decided I'm not going again to check what competitors are doing. I won't even follow them on Instagram or do anything. So I blocked myself from feeding myself with fear, and I began being proactive. What am I creating that is unique? What am I bringing to the table that I know is mine, is authentic, and shows out what I'm really up for? And when I began doing that, my freedom to create came in. Fear for what people are doing also went. And also realized that, you know what, they're actually my friends. So I would reach out when I know I have limited capacity. I'm like, hey, can you help me with this and this? And they were like willing to help me out. So I think my perspective shifted in seeing them as competitors to partners we can work with. We've actually worked with a few in the past, trying to supply for some of the big orders. And that has really helped my conscience and emotion, seeing that we are offering, we are giving a product that is unique to the market. And mine and theirs combined, we are not losing anything, but we're giving people more. So that has been my biggest achievement in competition. Um, where am I seeing myself in the next 2 years? I would say the next 2 years will see me having understood the brand, how do I say this? How the brand outlook will be. Right now, we are still developing the quality, understanding what flavors are really Kenyan. How then do we have a Kenyan to Africa outlook and to the world? So 2 years of understanding what people say about the brand, out of feedback in creating better quality. So that means my positioning will be better. My brand power will have grown. Definitely also my personal character will have grown so that I am able to have more freedom to express, because I realized some of the challenges a business has is influenced by my own character. So I see also a bit of delegation because of that. And yeah, those are some of the short-term goals I have for now, in terms of the next 2 years.
You know, Derek, I can listen to you all day and learn so much from you. You know,
Yeah.
it is so powerful what you're doing. You know, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you are excited as I am. You know, we talk about Mark Zuckerberg and all that. We have our own Gitonga here. And
Yeah.
that's why I decided I want to look for young Kenyan African entrepreneurs who are doing stuff like this. We don't need to go out there, I mean, to look for Zuckerberg. Lorraine, he's 27. He's not yet 30. He's 27. I don't want to go out looking for a Zuckerberg out there. No, no, no.
Mm.
I decided that we are going to, you know, let's have our own, you know. Wow. So let me ask, what has been your biggest order and how did you feel when you got it? I remember you had written something on LinkedIn that I saw the other day. What's your biggest order and how did that happen?
That actually, um, my biggest still remains to be won by the bank were merging, becoming one with two banks. And how I got that is one of the directors who was leading the PR function was a client of mine. And I remember she called me and said, Gitonga, I want you to be ready for a big order. This time there's no LPO, it's just a direct order because I love the product. So she called me after a week and said, you get a call from a lady who you'll be liaising with, and that's how it will come to. And for me, that's how I got to see the power of having a good relation with clients. So she was a faithful client for her child, and she got up and she bought herself. And I think she was so in love with the brand and the product that she was my advocate in the bank, and that's how it came. And I'm still grateful to her. We did 5,800 pieces.
What?
That was last year. Yeah, that was last year October. But this year, a new client came in. We are doing a partnership with a friend of mine, and we decided let's see what we can do for Valentines. And we have done right now we have done 6,000 pieces in 4 weeks, and the number is still increasing. So we are hoping to see a consistent increase in number for that product. Yeah, I would say this year we have one. I can't really say the name of the partnership or the business,
Yeah.
but I'd urge you guys to keep an eye open for any new chocolate product you see that is changing the landscape of how chocolate is in Kenya. I mean, that is probably me. It is me. There's no one else who's doing it. So, yeah, I mean, they're all exciting, especially for me being able to see. I'll give you a story. Last week I went for a meal at a restaurant on Kimathi Street, and I was just sitting and I overheard a conversation from the next table, and the lady was excited and talking about how these things taste nice. So I checked to see what is she talking about, and I saw some colored foil on the table, and I saw the guy opposite her wearing. He had removed the wrappers of the chocolate nicely and had them on as rings, and I could see, and I was like, "Wow, that is my product." And I could see them conversing about how good they were, and the lady was saying, I had planned to keep them for a month, but now we've eaten all of them in one go. I was so happy. I had to say hi, and I was like, "Hey, how did you enjoy this?" And they were excited to just hear someone who knows the product. I didn't say who I am, but seeing their genuine reaction just made me happy, and knowing that it's something that is coming from people's hearts. Just seeing, getting feedback is it's so exciting. One bar makes my day. I can sleep happily if I've sold one bar. Yeah.
Wow. So, what do you have for us for Easter? Because I want us to, from this platform, I want us to give you your biggest orders. What do you have for Easter?
Yes. For Easter, we are doing. Actually, this is my first Easter properly in production. I am doing Easter eggs. They are eggs that look like. Wait, no, they're chocolates that look like eggs, and we have them in four sizes. One that is as big as the book Lean Startups. That one is a display egg. I've found that people are doing really unique things with it, where you put in smaller eggs or marshmallows, and you compete who's going to break it first. We have another larger egg that's around 80 grams. We have a medium that's around 34, and we have the very tiny one that is 10 grams. Yeah, so most people are buying them for their kids to play treasure hunt at home. I have had a few corporates buying so that they can also do a treasure hunt in the office. And we have restaurants who are also buying so that for any client who comes, they get a free egg on the go. Because next week it's a whole Easter period. And also, there's a fashion line that have also purchased. If you buy anything from their clothing line, you get a free egg, and it's amazing. I'm seeing so many creative ideas on how people want to do with the eggs. So I'd encourage all of you guys to also partake in the Easter eggs or treasure hunt if you are into the games. Yeah.
So, how do we, if we want to buy your chocolates, where do we go? Can we order online? How does it work?
Yes. You can order online. Right now, you can order on Instagram. That's why we have our portfolio for ordering. My Instagram page is chocolate underscore ITS, chocolate underscore ITS. And from there, you'll find that we've posted a guide on how you can actually purchase. Or if you'd want, you can actually give me a direct message on my Instagram, on my WhatsApp number. That is 0793-805-111. Those two ways you can order, and we'll
Zero
get you
seven
straight
nine
to trade.
three 805 111. Yeah.
Yes, yes. That
So,
is how you
guys,
can
it's
order.
there. Let us collectively give this amazing son of Africa the biggest orders ever. This is
Yes, please.
inspiring. This is, for me, more inspiring than listening to a young Steve Jobs or a
Mm.
young Zuckerberg. This is our own. This is our
Wow.
own. We can touch him. We can reach him. This is our own,
Yeah.
and this is the platform. I mean, this is the foundation for the transformation of Africa. People like this. People like this. Bernice wants to ask, is asking rather, do you deliver countrywide?
Yes, we do. The beauty of logistics nowadays is being simplified. So we easily use the available couriers that you would wish to use. We're actually exporting to Boston and Juba. So we export worldwide right now. So yeah.
Wait. You are exporting to where?
We are
Huh?
exporting to Boston and Juba, Southern Sudan.
My goodness. Guy,
Yeah.
look, let me tell you something, Gitonga. When you become like that Warren Buffett of Africa, please
Yeah.
don't forget also. Eh?
I can't, you are part of me. We are all going there. You are part of my story.
Now, let me ask, before we wrap up, let me ask you a personal question, which is like, and I started from here. I asked if you were in a relationship. You said
Mhm.
your the first one didn't work out, isn't it? Now,
Yeah.
so don't you think you are making things more complicated for yourself if you wait and you now become this billionaire and you still have not yet you settled down? What's the plan? Or am I being old school?
No, no, you're being correct. I think one of the things I long for is a relationship because you see, entrepreneurship is pretty lonely. You're building a whole empire, and there's no there's no one there to be with you through the journey,
Hey,
remind you some
then,
of the fundamental principles.
guys, ladies, are you hearing? Then,
So yeah, I have a plan to definitely be in a relationship and marry. But so I'm actively searching and looking. So yeah, I'm open. I'm open to meet people right now. I'm open to many things, and build something with someone. Definitely. I'm looking forward.
so tell us,
Yeah.
uh, maybe somebody is listening to you right now and they have wanted to take this journey, of entrepreneurship or even just starting out with something and they've not been able
Hmm.
to do it. What will your advice to them be?
I would say put yourself in a position where it's hard to turn back from. Most of the people in the thought process of wanting to do business, we justify ourselves out of why we need to do it. And for me, how I put myself in a position I couldn't turn back was writing my proposal in a simple letter, 3 paragraphs to my dad, and explaining what I wanted to do. And I realized, you know what, I've already begun this and I can't go back. So do that. If you want to start an online page, create a page. Even if you don't have any stock, just create, look for pictures online. And then the next step is find out how can I start with one piece. So don't wait until you have it perfect. We work our ways to being perfect. So start small, don't think about what people will think about it. Start small and offer your best. Create. Someone say that all you can do is all you can do. but all you can do is enough. It means so many things, but giving your all in the moment, giving your all in creating that first step, if it's an online page, if it's buying a bucket, if it's, buying a djembe. One of my friends recently began selling fruits in Nakuru, and last month he made 20,000 shillings, which is the exact same amount of money he was earning in his salary. So this month he says he's buying two buckets. If one bucket gave him 20, so that means two buckets will give him 40. So I'm waiting for next week to get a call from him and see what he says. But the first thing he did was he started. He bought a bucket, filled it with fruits. So I'm waiting to see what happens with his story. And that's the most important thing. Put yourself in a position where it's hard to come back from. So at the next step is just going forward and forward and forward. Yes.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Julie. Julie says single and chocolate entrepreneur. But how? Yet people are buying your chocolate and they are, hooking up. Anyway, we are praying for you. Don't rush into it. We are praying
Thank you.
for you. We will pray for you.
Thank
But
you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I beg you, let us do something. This is going to be, I'm not even putting this on our Street University website. This is going to be here on the Street University Facebook. It will be on the Wale Akinyemi resource page. I will put the link on Twitter. I will put the link to this on every platform I have. And what I want all
Amazing.
of us to do, let us just blast this. Let us share it with people. If you know corporate people that will need chocolate, even if they don't know they need the chocolate, convince them that chocolate is what they need for Easter. All
Yeah.
right? Convince them. I need you guys because we have to start supporting our own. This is how Africa
Yeah.
is going to grow. We need to support our own. And again, if you guys know people like Derrick, like Gitonga, who are doing remarkable things like this, and you want us to bring them on, please let us know. This is your platform. This is your platform. Let us know so that we can promote them. We want to reimagine Africa. That is what we want to do, to reimagine Africa. An Africa that is not waiting for aid, an Africa that is not begging for food or any such thing, an Africa that is, full of people, a new breed without greed, an Africa full of people that are full of dignity. We carry ourselves with dignity. And that is why we must support our own. So, Derrick, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And I know that our team here at the Street University will support you. We will purchase from you. We will be, let us, guys, let's all appoint ourselves as his brand ambassadors. What's the name for your chocolates, by the way?
The brand name is It's Chocolate. Two simple words in English that we use. It is chocolate. So It's Chocolate is a brand name.
Isn't that amazing? So, guys, it's chocolate. So let us
Yes.
play our part in making this brand go viral. All right. Let there
Thank
be
you.
a before and after Street University story. Okay. So once again,
Thank you.
Gitonga, thank you. You have inspired us. You have taught us. And we are so proud to be on the same continent
Thank you.
with you. All right. And we
Thank
will
you.
do our
Thank you.
part.
I am honored. I am
Uh,
honored. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my story here. Thank you so much.
wow.
And even for
We are
being in
so
a
good.
beautiful space. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, let us make noise about this. You have the number. Share with people, encourage people to buy chocolates for people, get companies you have access to, tell them why they need to support our own. Get this into supermarkets, get this everywhere. This has been one of the most inspiring stories I have ever heard. I have made myself a brand ambassador for It's Chocolate. All right. So
Thank you.
this is so good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much indeed. And for those of you who will be joining us at 9 p.m. for the other session, please, you know where to join us on Wale Akinyemi resource page. I'm going to be talking about mindsets. And, we talked about, oh, fantastic. Noria's store is following him on Instagram. You see, we support our own. And ladies and gentlemen, in the spirit of supporting our own, the book that he talked about, Lean Startup, just Noria's store, just Abdullah just commented here. So you can follow Abdullah. He will make sure you get that book, The Lean Startup. It's a good one. All right. In this place, we are building a community. We will support our own. All right. Fantastic. So God bless you. And whatever you do, keep winning. Thank you.